special programming this time of year is Elections 2012, and you're watching as we head into our coverage of all the candidates that are currently running for office. And our first guest on the show today is Gary Beauvais. Welcome, Gary. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time you're giving us to say what we have to say in regards to this election, and looking forward to the next 15 minutes. And let's do it. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. It's 15 minutes on the hot seat, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, no. I'm used to being in front of a microphone. I've been on CJD radio on Saturday mornings for the last 11 years talking gardening. So I talk to 100,000 people every weekend.
So this is nothing.
This is no. I mean, this is something, but I'm not. I'm used to talking public speaking.
Good. Which is important when you're running for office.
Well, yes, it helps, definitely. And I am bilingual also, so I speak French. So if I have to go to Quebec City, and then I can raise hell in French over there too, so, as well as English. Not so much Mohawk, but some Mohawk, but...
There you go.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 51 years old. This is not on a whim that I'm doing this. This is something that's been in the planning for pretty much for 3 years. I considered running in the 2009 election, but last minute I backed out, feeling I wasn't prepared enough. But this election, actually a year ago, I started to prepare last July, figuring next 2012, next election I'd like to run. But I'm 51 years old. My father is James Beauvais. Everybody knows him. My mother was the late Carol Dybel, who worked at the hospital all her life, so many people know her. And I've got 3 young daughters that I'm raising right now, so I'm pretty busy. And but this is something that like I said, the last few years I wanted to do. I'm 51 years old now. I think I reached that level of maturity where I can do this job, you know, and I'm looking forward to doing it because there's a lot of issues that need to be looked at. Number one, I think the council table, add more council. It's time for change, you know. Everywhere I go, everybody I speak to, it's time for change. So hopefully I can be a part of that process for change. I mean, change, fresh faces, fresh new ideas. It always helps. You know?
Yeah. Well, why are you running for council?
Well, like I said, you know, you can complain and bitch all you want, you know, but there comes a point in time, maybe, you know, I want to stand up and do something now. Let me try to be a part of the process here and try to make things, not saying that they're totally bad, but there's some things that need improvement, something that can be part of that improvement. Of course, having 3 young daughters, their best interest in the future is always in your best interest. So, you know, I want to do something for them too as well. But I mean, for our people, there's a lot of things. Ganawag is shrinking. We need a bigger land mass. 400 years ago, when we used to deplete our soils in our culture as an agriculture people, we deplete the forest, then we move on to another new settlement. Well, we've been here for a few hundred years now, and this is depleted now. It's time to move on again. But can we? Yes, we can. That's part of our culture. That's the way we work. So that's one of the things that you know, I like to put on the table. I don't intend on making any promises to anybody, but what I like I mentioned on the radio last week, I have this imaginary people's table, where I will make suggestions, give ideas, proposals, put it on that table for the people, all the people to see, and then let them decide, should we continue further on this issue, or should it just be dead in the water and move on to something else? So that's basically what you know, the people need a voice. I'm not fond at all of the word chief. I'm not fond of the word leader. You know, somebody mentioned me. I did mention leader at some point as well. When you're leading a flock of sheep, it's like leading. No, that's not. No. So what I like, you know, a spokesman for the people. The people's voices need to be heard. There's 4 band meetings a year, where the people have a chance to speak. Not many people attend, but I don't think that's enough. I mean, we should go back to once a month. We have to be relentless here. Current council says that we tried everything, you know, we did this, we did that, we tried to get people to the meetings, so forth. Well, you know, don't stop. You got to be relentless. Once a month. I mean, you got to put issues on the table. There's a lot of issues that are out there right now. Only every 3 months that they'll get out there to the people and tell them about it. I mean, this is a 7-day-a-week job if I was to be elected to council. You know, like I mentioned, I'll take my own personal campaign, you know, to go out and give the issues of the day, you know, and get their people's opinion. Like I said, I made a suggestion, organize a meeting on a Sunday morning at the Moose Lodge with their members. That there's going to be 2 councillors there or 3 councillors from 10 till 12. Where, you know, a lot of the members there are not comfortable in a band meeting, but maybe they'll be comfortable in the Moose Lodge. So we'll sit there, Tell us, you know, you got problems, you got issues, tell us.
Right.
And then at the same time, well, this is what we're working on right now. This is what's on the table, maybe SSL, the land claim or whatever, you know, this is where we're at and this is here, you know, this is the information. You know, if you have any questions, you think we should do something different, well, and all the organizations go into like one day at the hospital, their employees, even in an hour. Go in there. They have issues, tell us your issues. And this is our issues right now that we're working with. And this is what we're doing right now for the people. You know, that's what I see. You have
Sounds
to be
very hands-on.
Well, yeah, it has to be hands-on. You have to be relentless because the people there's less information getting out to the people and and then it goes as far as the accountability, you know, a lot of things.
Well, that's one of my questions is why do you think you will make a good leader, if you will? And how do you plan on being accountable to the people?
Well, this is it. See, I would go to St. Lucie for a weekend and meet the people. You know, enjoy fishing and whatever you do. You know, barbecuing, but at the same time, talk to the people. And I'm here. You know, and I announce myself. I'm here. You know, there's something not happy about. Tell me. You know, I'll bring it back to town, to the council table. Stuff like that. I'm not shy to get out there and speak to the people and tell me. I know I'm here for you. You know, and that's one of you know, like right now, there's a lot of people are not happy with this confidentiality agreement. So I mean to a certain limit, it's beneficial. I mean, there's a lot of times there's going to be people's or some of our people's personal issues that have to be brought to the table. But that I understand. You know, you got to keep people's personal issues. But I mean, now if there's stuff that's tabled, you know, and I think, you know, if people need to know this, where you know, there's no reason why to hide it. I would, you know, I think we should tell the people. Right. You know, I mean, why hide anything? You know, it's like goes back to MIT in 1999. I worked there in the renovation of that building where they opened up. Now we didn't know what we were doing there. We were working. We were, you know, but nobody really knew. Nobody told us. All we know is our checks were cut by the MCK. But in the end, well, you know what? You know, I was only after the grand opening that they, in their press conference, that it came out what it was. You know, but see, stuff like that. People don't like that. You know, they want hands-on. They want to know what's going on in our community. And why did it have to be so under wraps? Because it's in the gray area of. And as far as Quebec and Canada, there are laws, you know, but there's other issues too. You know, we can go on and.
Yes, and I mean that's a whole other show.
That's right.
Right now, I mean, you make a lot of good points, and you know, I think it's great that you seem to be very much about the people. And doing your service, and you're saying, you know, you're going to do seven days a week.
Well,
what is your background?
I've been in construction.
What's your background?
I've been in construction all my life. I started working pretty much when I was 12 years old by delivering a newspaper. And then when I turned 13 years old till 17, 5 years, I worked about 20 hours a week at the church. I used to wash windows, shovel snow, cut grass, vacuum the church. And then from there, I went into... did a little bit of iron work, but then what really got me about that was the traveling at that time, because you couldn't work in Quebec in those days. You had to have so many hours, so you have to travel the United States. But I couldn't take the traveling. So, but then I got into painting, and I used to paint. I was like 20 years old. I was a painter in town in Ganawag at that time. I did all the new housing. I worked for Elmer Jacobs. I did all big commercial jobs. I had like 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys working for me when I was 20 years old, you know. And then I went on Glenn Delarone Building Supplies, where we had the lumber yard. In 1988, very few people know, but the second phase of the apartments up the hill there, that was Glenn Delarone's contract, but I did all the work on that. I did the estimation, the bidding process, and then after, that was in 1988, that we need, and now we were told that the bank was new in town, Mike Rice, and I negotiated a line of credit for this job to get the job going. So very few people know that, but did that, and then contracting, building homes. So I know how to give direction. I was a boss or whatever, but I also know how to take direction. The last 10 years, I worked for a company called Neolec and Highway Construction. That all started with 2001, 2002, when Roxborough and Jacobs Gimma, they did the highway.
They did, yeah.
So the Neolec was a company that did the highway lighting and the traffic lights. So I got on with them, and then in 2002, when we went to this phase 2 of that job, before it was over, they asked me, once we're done here, would you like to continue with us working off the reserve? We'll get you your cards, your papers, we'll get you into the union. I said, sure. And I worked for them for the last 10 years. And very few of them spoke English. So all the foremen only speak French, no English at all. And that's where I learned how to speak French in the last 10 years. It's like a Russian hockey player coming to North America to play hockey. In 6 months, he's talking English, you know.
Right.
So pretty much the same idea. But no, I mean, it's good to speak French. I mean, it doesn't hurt living in Quebec, you know.
How do you feel that all this work experience would prepare you for, you know, to take on something of this magnitude in terms of handling politics here in the community? And what area are you interested in specifically?
Well, first of all, like I said, I was a lot of times I was the boss in a lot of the work I did. I was in business. I used to be a part of a business with Elaine Delaro and Aganusa Decor. We were into flooring business. That was a good business. We made a lot of sales. But no, I know how to give direction. You know, I could stand up and lead in business world or in working to give direction. But at the same time, I can take direction. You can tell me to you know, whatever work needs to be done. You tell me what has to be done, and I do it. You know, I work hard. I've always worked hard. I'm not afraid to work. So now, you know, I think so. I have that aspect for this job. I mean, like you said, you called it a leader. I don't like that, but I mean, I could give direction and take direction. And for me, I would like to work. I would like to have all the portfolios. Actually, I'm not too fond right now of the portfolio system. You know, I think maybe all 12 of that council table should be all hands-on issues. Maybe it might set you back in one sense, it may, but then again, there's a lot to benefit as well. But for sure, I would love to have Quebec Ganawaba relations, the SSL, definitely. Those I definitely like to work on. I think this next 3-year term council, there should be major inroads with the scenery land claim. You know, we have to begin now, like sort of old-fashioned politics. You know, going there and raising hell now. You know, like there's a lot of, they're talking about cutbacks, Health Canada, meds, education,
right.
All that. You know, well, I mean,
the same issues that keep coming.
You know,
up
yeah. Well, you know, I mean, if they're gonna tell you, well, we're cutting back this much, and then you come back to Ganawag with your tail between your legs, they don't like that when I say that. But really, well, then no, old-fashioned politics, raise hell. No, don't take that for an answer. You know, be relentless. That's what this is my word. This is what I've been saying this a lot. Is be relentless. Make ultimatums and give deadlines. You know, stand up and be firm and call their bluff. You know, don't let them intimidate you at all. Even because they're highly educated, big 6-figure paying jobs. So what? You know, I'm here for my people. There's a lot of issues they're not happy with, and this is what my people want.
Anything you're specifically interested in besides scenery? I mean, that is a big issue here in the community, as you mentioned.
Well, I've gone on Quebec relations. I like to be part of I go to AFN meetings with the Quebec Associated Natives, you know, go and meet the other natives.
Are you a supporter of the AFN?
Well, to an extent. I mean, there's a lot of those nations out west have taken on or accepted the fact that the Canadian Indians. I'm not. You know, that I would never do. But I mean, still, that's their decision. You know, that's what they're. Well, you know, they're entitled to what they want to be. But no, create alliances with the other natives back out there. If they have land claims issues, they're having problems. You know, let's all get together and create some sort of group here. You know, like if they give you a hard time, well then we'll support you. They're giving us a hard time here, come back and support us. You know, in numbers, bigger the numbers, the more power you have. You know.
Okay, well, Gary, you have almost a minute and a half to wrap this up. Is there anything else you'd like to add, and why should people come out and vote for you next time?
Well, you just, like I said, all what I just mentioned, but there's still a lot of issues. There's the post office issue that's been going on forever, where they're charging us tax. It's not fair for the employees there. We have to charge us tax and take flack. You know, I mean, I want to go right to the Postmaster General's office and raise hell on what's going on here. Do something about that. Membership, that's been on hold since, 2007. You know, that's got to be opened up again, wide open. And now there's this matrimonial thing that their council's racing to get something law in place to, you know, and like I said, I think there's got to be more band meetings. We have the Seaway going through Ganawag. We get absolutely nothing. It's on a free pass. Well, they're all making millions of dollars. The Right Honorable Paul Martin and his Canadian Steamship Lines. You know, that stuff like that. Where's our train stop that was agreed to 2009? The Mercier Bridge, that's another thing, is the Mercier Bridge. Quebec should be held accountable. The Minister of Transport, Quebec, it's criminal now. All the years of neglect on that bridge, like this weekend now, we can't, if we go to Montreal, we gotta go to Champlain Bridge. I was talking to somebody with the medical mobile yesterday. They're not happy because on Saturday mornings our people go to Montreal for dialysis. They're already in a bad way, but to have to leave even earlier and to go all the way around because of that bridge was neglected. Transport Quebec, that I will even if I don't get into council, and look into that. They have to be held accountable. It's criminal. People in shed, even our time, our gas, all the extra, and this is going to go on for the next 3, 4, 5 years. This is just starting. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So, like that. Our culture, I mentioned on the radio last week, I was disappointed in April there, the Cultural Awareness Month. There was nothing about Iroquois cultivation. Along with our language, Iroquois are agricultural people. There was nothing there in the schools. There's really nothing. I volunteered my time over the years, going to the schools, doing planting project with the kids. Kids enjoyed it, watching something go from little seed into something big. So even if I don't into council or not into council, that's one of my goals is to bring back Iroquois cultivation.
So if anyone has any questions for you, or where can they reach you, or could they?
There's a Time for Change page on Facebook that I've been posting a lot there. I have a Facebook page, Gary Beauvais, or Beauvais, whatever you want to call it, or beauvaisga@hotmail.ca. I'll be happy to accept your emails and answer questions, whatever. But I'm going to be campaigning more as the time goes on. These are some of my issues, and so if you like what I said, July 7th, my name is on the ballot.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
15 minutes flies by.
It's over already?
It's already over.
Can I buy another 15 minutes? I'll pay.
Well, thank you for coming in, and good luck on Election Day.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. We have another chief who's currently on Mohawk Council, and it's Chief Lloyd Phillips. But don't go away. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.